This is a story about the meaning that is to be found beyond discomfort. Alright, morning of. Ooh, the nerves. Yeah. Dude, I got up at like 4 and I was like, how is it only 4? Like, I wanted to get up. Let's do it. Here we go. Just started. Great trek. 2023. I think I've always enjoyed running. Maybe it was the association between running and the outdoors, or the freedom and adrenaline I felt sprinting away from my parents, or the fact that I seemed half decent at it. Whatever it was, I ran around quite a bit when I was young, playing soccer, then joining cross country, and then track and field. But you see, I was never really intense about it. Consistency didn't come easy to me. It felt like I just didn't have the courage to embrace the discomfort of a consistent training schedule. And I think that negatively affected the beliefs I held about myself. I really lacked confidence when I was younger. The conditions are looking perfect. Now I don't wanna act like I don't miss it. The sunlight is crazy. It's gonna be a good run. I started running a bit more in university on the side, primarily to get outside and relieve school-related stress. And after losing a 10K by 3 whole minutes to a friend and having to eat a banana sideways, I was fired up and signed up for my first half marathon, the Vancouver BMO half. I set out to run under 1 hour 35 and found a running plan online that I could stick to during the school term. Things actually went quite well for most of the term, and I was on track to run under my goal time. But 3 weeks before the race, I sprained my ankle and I was out for 2 weeks. I tried to maintain my fitness through other activities like cycling, but I inevitably fell off track. And then came race day. I really gave it all I had. Alright, I just passed the 10K mark. I'm dying, not gonna lie. Ultimately, I fell short of my goal, running an official time of 1 hour 37 and 26 seconds. And let me tell you, it left me with a really bitter feeling, hungry for more. And that's when I signed up for my second half marathon, the UBC Great Trek, several months away in November. Here's the deal. Food time, that water is so hard to drink from a cup. Just past 4 kilometers. The weather is amazing. I'm feeling okay. Definitely out of breath. Alright, it is June 11th and I'm about to do my first 2-hour run. I've got a running pack. It's my first time trying one of these. I just ordered it off Amazon. Yeah, I've been reading more about the MAF method, the MAF method. This was when I discovered MAF training, developed by the Dr. Phil Maffetone, which stands for Maximum Aerobic Fitness. Oh, and which also comes from his name. I was looking to train more effectively and understand some of the science behind endurance training, and this was the approach many top endurance athletes followed. The main idea behind the MAF method is training the aerobic system. This is the stable, long-term source of energy for your body that relies on burning fat, not carbohydrates, which is what the anaerobic system relies on. This method roughly follows a polarized training schedule, with most of your running done at a very easy pace, some at a very hard pace, and then close to none in the middle. This sits beside 2 other common approaches and is opposed to the extremely common one-pace only running, which tends to fall in the middle and ends up being quite inefficient. I ran 2 hours in the forest and I only got to 18K, and I realized I've been doing anaerobic training pretty much until now, only anaerobic training, because it just feels nicer to run faster. Running slow takes a lot of discipline because, well, you just get a bigger dopamine and adrenaline rush running fast.
Monitoring my heart rate as a measure of exertion was something new to me, and it was hard to adjust to initially. In the first few weeks, I literally was walking up small hills and getting passed by both little kids and senior citizens, but training is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be effective. And finally, after a month of runs at a snail pace, things started improving. I just finished my 12K. It's been a month of math training. Well, I'll say I'm very glad I'm not stuck at 640 pace, 640 per kilometer. Today's run was at 545. Honestly, I'm very impressed with a month worth of progress.
8K, already kind of dying, I can't lie. Heart rate, same as BMO, 188, but I kept it at that for BMO, so I'll keep it here.
And then it happened again. I sprained my ankle again playing soccer, and my training basically reached zero. And this was the point at which I almost completely gave up, because my ankle was just not getting better. I was so frustrated because even though I wasn't training like crazy, running was an important and consistent part of my lifestyle, and having that taken away from me was just demoralizing. And I genuinely thought I would experience a repeat of my last half marathon, barely missing my goal time. And I just couldn't let that happen, so it kept me going. Been like a month since I've sprained my ankle, so pretty much a month of not running. I'm gonna be honest, it's not looking good. I'm trying to be less passive about it, so I've got these bands. Trying to do some ligament strengthening exercises because the race is in a month, and I'm gonna try to run on it. That was my coworker's advice. Kind of depressing. There's always so many things asking for your time. Because of everything else I had going on, it was hard to feel like this training was important to me. I remember thinking to myself in those days, it doesn't really matter. None of this really matters because who cares if I don't run under 1 hour 35 in some random half marathon? But that was the point. No one really cared except me. This was a journey through myself, to myself, for myself. And as the saying goes, when you lose your way, you need to find your why. And so I thought back to why I started all of this, to how I wanted to build confidence by doing hard things. It's 6:20 a.m. and it looks very cold outside. Because I lacked confidence most of my life. And confidence comes from proof. If I didn't give myself proof in that week when I was about to throw in the towel that I overcame this hurdle, I would not have gained much confidence at all from all of this. So this was about giving myself that proof. Yeah, feels good to be back at it again. Halfway mark, hands are freezing, so I don't know how much I can hold the GoPro, but I'm feeling quite tired. I'm gonna take this off. We are a week and a half before a great trek, and today's run felt a lot harder than I expected. Guess what? For the first time in a long time, my VO2 max went up. To see it go up, it's really encouraging because I've been kind of stuck for a while. Yeah, the past 2 weeks of training have gone surprisingly well.
Last K, get it all I got.
At this point, literally all I could think of was in how much pain I was. My hands were frozen, which made filming the hardest thing in the world. I had one foot numb, which was a recurring problem in training. I felt my chest was going to explode. Even my arms started feeling heavy. And I started yelling at myself for doing those 20 push-ups in the morning. My average heart rate up until this point was 186. I was hurting from start to finish. Near the start, your mind wanders. You smile, you're having fun. But after a while, the only thing on your mind is the pain. Just full awareness of the pain. At the 8K mark, I genuinely had no idea how I was going to finish the race. My pace started slowing, going from 420 to 450, and I started telling myself, you just have to make it to 10K, man. 12K, 15K. Just try to run a personal best. Forget the 420 pace. And in those moments, I felt my mind weakening. It was a constant battle, and I had to win it over and over again.
Plan is a half marathon at aerobic pace. Try to start quite easy, no music. Then I might turn on a podcast if I get bored or something.
I very vividly remember this run because this was the run where I really surprised myself. I set out to do a half marathon to 21k and ended up going for 25, which was the longest distance I had ever run. I got into this rhythm that I had never gotten into before. The kilometers were passing by like nothing. My heart rate was at an all-time low. All the pieces felt like they were coming together. All the research into endurance training, the stretching, the higher protein intake, the prioritization of sleep, those annoyingly long Sunday runs in the forest, they were all paying off. Maybe, just maybe, I could actually reach my goal. In that moment, I felt some confidence, and I hadn't felt that all throughout my training. Okay, so it's night before race day. I feel really excited actually. Training could have gone better, but I've put quite a bit of time and heart into training. Yeah, my race predictor, it's only telling me an hour 37, which is what I ran last time. And last time it told me I could do 1 hour 33 or 4, I think. Yeah, so the main goal is still sub 1 hour 35, but I feel like, I'm gonna say it, I feel like I can do 420 pace, which would be under 1 hour 32. We'll see tomorrow. Maybe this is like way too high of a goal. Looking back on this episode of my life, it's easy to forget just how important this one race felt to me. Because it always was about so much more than the running and the race itself. It was about making time for important, non-urgent things when I felt I had no time. It was about failing, plateauing, wanting to quit, lacking self-belief, but then thinking critically about my failures and what I could improve on and then trying again. It was about really testing my endurance, learning about my limits, learning about where my mind wanders when I'm exploring the darkest corners of the pain cave, what stories I start playing or replaying in my head, and how I start negotiating with myself. It was about the humility, the perspective, and the deep-seated sense of peace I gained from pushing myself to my limits.
Don't leave me hanging.